Hey you Dans, here's your tutorial. Alright, you open recent, you go to the most recent paint.net file, and you've got to do all the settings first because they reset every time you leave paint.net. So set hardness to 100. Turn off anti-aliasing, because what anti-aliasing does is if I zoom in, here's anti-aliased. Where I'll make a new layer just to show that. Here's anti-aliased. You see it's sort of blending in. Here's aliased. It's not doing that. So you want aliased rendering on. You want the fill tool tolerance to be 0. Sometimes you want to change it, but specifically for making nations you want it to be 0. You want the sampling to be for the image. So let me show you. Right. So if it's for the image, it does this. It bases it off the entire image. If you base it off the layer, it does this. So let's say we go to the undiscovered layer, base it off the layer, it does this. Let's say we go to the nations layer, it does this. If we go to the map for filling layer, it does that. If we go to the mountains layer, it does that. So you want it to be for the image. Now, when you make a nation, you want to pick the nation's colour. So you want to set the opacity to 255 so that you get the proper colour. Because if I set the opacity down to 120 and let's say I copy the Lectrin Dynasty's colour. Now let's say I set it to 255 and swap the colours, copy that. Oh, copy that. You see how they're two different colours? So then, if I set the opacity to 120, then let's say I have the proper colour, the 255 opacity colour, it does this. Then let's say I use the colour I got from the transparent layer, it does this. So it's, you want to say it's 255 for you do anything. So we've picked the Lectrin Dynasty, and let's say we want to expand it. You create a new layer just for the outline, and let's say you want to expand it over here. You get rid of the names and the capitals, you turn them off, and then you go to the nations layer and just fill it in, and then you delete that, bring back the names and the capitals, and it's expanded now. And then you want to set a name, you change it to black, go to Ming Liu, whatever the hell that is. Right, make sure you go to the names layer, you type in the name of the nation, you change the font size here, and then you just pick this in order to like overwrite that. And then I'm accidentally overwriting this, so I'm going to do this. And here, now it fits better. So, let's say you want to add a capital. There's no reason to add a capital right now unless I want to add a new nation. Which, actually I will. I'll add a new nation. So, let's add it here. Make sure it fits the size. And then I'll go to the capitals layer. Copy this by doing Control C, copy. Control V to paste. And let's say I put the capital here. If you want to add a zone, this is an example of a zone. Let's say I want to add a zone that's in pink, and I want to add it to Clan Toxicryph. Okay? So, you add a new layer here, if you've not noticed that. And then, what you do is, you do something similar to the nations. You would go to zones, and then you go from solid colour to light upwards diagonal. And you see it looks weird here. So what you want to do is you want to set this opacity to alpha. Wait, no. I mean, you want to set it to 0. Sorry, I'm getting confused there. And you want to do this, and like you can swap them, but you want to swap it. So actually, I'll make it 255 opacity so it's easier. You want to swap it so that the colour of the zone is these small lines, and the colour of the nations these bigger lines. Right, then you want to delete layer 13. So now you have a zone, and then you go to names. You use the same font, but you want to make it small, and you want to make it the colour of the zone. And let's just call it the I'm just gonna call it the South Zone. Make it like really small. And if you haven't noticed, I've been using the map filling because the regular map, even when you get rid of the mountains, there's all these rivers here. You want the nation colour to cover the rivers, so you want to turn on the map for filling. Another thing about the map for filling is the edges are aliased, whereas the regular map they're anti-aliased, because when I was making the map smaller, it made them blend in, and I didn't bother changing it. So, what else is there really? I mean, you don't want to turn off any of these layers. You can turn on this if you want to know some information real quick. Basic information. But I don't know what this is for. If you ever want to expand the undiscovered zone, I mean, you want to set the opacity to 255, and then you want to do this, and then I think I was using like a size of 300 for the brush. But that's not going very well, is it? What the hell am I doing? Um, I'm getting a bit stuck now. Oh, the light upward diagonal fill. It's meant to be solid colour, right? So I turn the hardness down a lot. Oh, what the hell was it that I did? Um, trying to remember now. What did I do? What did I do? Oh, I had it anti-aliased. So this is one of the few times you'll want to use anti-aliasing. I'm sorry for that pause. So I think I had it on a hardness of 75 and like a size of 300. No. Maybe it was a size 2000. Whatever, it looks weird though. I think I'm just gonna stop now. I'm gonna stop messing around. Um, um, but this is all you need to know, really. Just this, that I've shown you so far. So adding nations, adding capitals, adding names, stuff like that. You don't need to know anything else, really. Oh, except for if you want to make the canvas smart. So, what you want to do is you want to save it. Wait, does that have my... Does it show my real name? No. You want to save it, so it's not the 17th of July. I mean, it is the 17th of July, but for this, I'll just change it to the 18th, just as an example. You want to save it, and then you want to change the canvas size. You want to do this, have it at the bottom, by percentage, 50%. And then you want to save it as a PNG. Don't change the name, just save it. Just press OK. I mean, click OK. And that's it. Tutorial over.